whole new challenge for myself, my team, everybody. In fact, it's a brand new class run inside the World Superbike Championship with the Honda CBR 500, the Yamaha R3 and the Kawasaki Ninja 300, which is my bike. I'm here in the Netherlands riding for a Dutch team, Kawasaki Agro-On Benjan Racing, and yeah, it's a big challenge for us, but going really well. Yeah, so in 2015 and 16 I won the European Women's Cup, which is the only championship for women recognised at European or even World Championship level. There's no World Championship for women in road racing, so that was as close as it got, and last year I managed to win all 8 races of the championship. Yeah, so fortunately for me, I guess, I grew up racing at home in New Zealand and I was one of very few girls, and that's the case in most countries. To be honest, I actually think in New Zealand we have more girls than others, so we're pretty lucky, but I always grew up racing with the boys, so I don't know any different, to be honest, which probably helps me a little bit. And I think as soon as who you compare yourself with is the level that you obtain, you know, so if you're always aiming for the top, you're much more likely to get there than just comparing yourself to somebody who's already at your level. So I always aim to race against the guys, and I like the aggression, you know, it's actually fun when you're out there banging bars, and boys don't leave anything on the table, especially when they're risking being beaten by a girl. This year I have an excellent program based with the Dutch team who have supplied us with somewhere to live, and both my teammate Glenn Scott, who's from Australia, and I are based together, and we're able to travel to the racing together, which is fantastic. And in between the rounds I do a lot of preparation, training at the gym, running, cycling, staying mentally fit, and then also studying my university studies, as well as negotiating with sponsors and sending emails, keeping everybody updated what's going on. So it's pretty busy. Since I've arrived in Europe, aside from the race weekends and a couple of days testing, I literally do not ride a motorcycle in between rounds. That's just due to the massive costs of riding up here. Anywhere in the world, I think everyone knows that racing is expensive, but particularly here you're looking at €200 entry fee, a minimum for a day on track, as well as tyres, fuel, transport. It would mean that I'd have to purchase a practice bike and a van, and a whole lot of other costs on top of what I already pay to be racing here and what my sponsors contribute. So it's not easy not being able to ride in between rounds, but I have to make the most of what I can do, which is preparing myself mentally and physically off the bike. So the 2017 season started in Aragon in Spain. Back in April we did some testing in Spain before the race, and then headed to Aragon. The weekend started out really well, but unfortunately a crash kind of hindered my progress, and we had a problem with the bike in the race. So we progressed on to Assen, which was the team's home round here in Holland. So that was really exciting. It was a great event, and I managed to finish 19th in that race, which was a really positive step forward for us all. And since then we've had a round at Imola in Italy, and last weekend we raced at Donington Park in the UK. So this is my South Foods Benjan Racing Kawasaki Ninja 300 I'm racing this year. I'll give you a quick tour of the bike. So they're a road bike, LAMS approved, so in New Zealand you can ride them on a learner bike license. And we've modified it pretty heavily, to be honest, for racing. So this class has a maximum weight limit of minimum weight of 140 kilos. So this bike is 141.8, I think, so we're pretty close to that minimum weight limit. A few things compulsory in the class, so a brake guard to make sure that nobody touches your front brake. aftermarket suspension, so front fork cartridges and the aftermarket rear shock. Also a few additions, I've got a data or lap timer, a temperature gauge, and some suspension potentiometers, so we're allowed a limited amount of data logging. We're allowed suspension travel, RPM and throttle position. So that's a way of the mechanics and the teams knowing what's going on when I'm out there on the bike. When I come in, they plug in a laptop and download the information of what went on. The 300 class is very unique. The bikes don't have so much power. We have a top speed of 190, I think 97 kilometers an hour, so they're not super fast, and that means that the slipstream and riding in a group to take advantage of the slipstream is hugely important, and that's something really different to the European Junior Cup that I raced in for the last 2 years, where the bikes were much heavier and more powerful and the slipstream wasn't quite as important. So that's something I'm still getting used to, is riding aggressively in a bunch of riders. And there's no age limit on the class, but the youngest you can enter is 15. So there's a heap of 15, 16, 17-year-old Italian, Spanish guys. A lot of them from Red Bull Rookies, which is a hugely competitive championship run inside MotoGP. So Superbike have done a great job of making an affordable class that's competitive, and now we've got massive fields of really competitive riders and 2 girls, myself and Anna Carrasco, and with the boys. So it's definitely exciting and a really big challenge. So that's my season here in Europe so far. We're not yet halfway through the year, so still got a lot of races to go and some good results to come.